Okay, this is my recording of my unique presentation for a proposal of what my final project is going to be for my ArcGIS introductory class. Okay, here we go. The slipperiest compounds known to man made with fluorine. Testing at single parts per trillion. DuPont, Chemours, and 3M versus the military. What are we talking about? PFAS, or per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances. This is my presentation about how I will be making a map of populations that might be affected by PFAS exposures and releases from military bases around the US. It's used in firefighting foam. This movie, Dark Waters, tells the story about the first case in 1999 in West Virginia, where a farmer found terrible things happening to his cattle that were drinking water coming from a DuPont landfill next to his cattle, next to his farm. And there was a big lawsuit. DuPont, to this day, denies any responsibility, even though they paid hundreds of millions of dollars in settlements. This is what PFOA looks like. It is used in firefighting foam, used on military bases and in commercial airports. The EPA is really focusing on this issue. A lot of federal government agencies are focusing on this issue. They released drinking water health advisories this year, and there is currently out for public comment a new rule that would categorize PFOA and PFOS, including their salts and structural isomers, under the Superfund Act. The EPA is even looking at many more PFAS chemicals that they should be looking into how they can test for and what they can do about. So my proposal centers around a couple of sources of data. First, this Senate bill proposed in 2021 never made it past the Committee on Armed Services, not yet at least. That lists 50 bases, military bases around the USA that are likely to have released PFAS, PFOS, and PFOA into the environment within their firefighting foams, and there are 50 of them. Here they are, all over the country. So for my project, I'd like to look at the affected populations based on different data sets and different analyses that might be possible. Mapping based on watersheds and populations is interesting to me, and there's more that can be done there. I'm looking for feedback. The Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment has mapped locations where they have done testing for PFOS and PFOA around the state, as well as where they've found it. And so there is geodatabases available from within the state. I'm in contact with CDPHE to get access to this and get some ideas for analysis that might be useful. As far as maps more broadly, the Environmental Working Group, a nonprofit, has created a map that shows the widespread nature of this issue. And then what's more, a paper was published here in 2022 in Environmental Science and Technology Letters, describing a new method to find presumptive PFAS contamination sites, which using their method they found potentially over 57,000 contaminated sites all around the US. The EPA indeed has geospatial data that they share, and this can provide possibly some useful information. So, in summary, I'm proposing a map of the whole country showing heat maps based on the number of people living in the watershed surrounding the 50 bases identified in that Filthy 50 Act. Geodatabases that I will need are the locations, which I'll make, HUC 8, which is watersheds, census, and then looking for more suggestions. When I made this presentation in class, the professor suggested doing a flow analysis. Is that right? Flow accumulation. Okay, finally, what exists? Not much. 11,000 results for PFAS and shapefile, and most of them appear to be within specific states, Colorado being one of them. Finally, are there any shapefiles for the Filthy 50 in particular? No. So there's an opportunity to produce something that might be useful for this very complex and emerging issue. Thank you.